Well, it's not a video without our dog sleeping right in between us.
Betwixt.
This is Island 6.
This is
Iland.
Iland 6.
Iland.
Today we're starting off the episode with data. We've been...
Voting has begun.
Voting has
People stayed in lines. They
bought pizzas.
They were handing water bottles. Yeah. Counting every ballot.
Over 170 countries voted. Now, if you don't remember, I believe there's 192 countries on Earth. Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Cuba, El Salvador too. I said Cleveland. Cleveland is a country, honey. Say that. So in order of the countries that have the most votes, top 5. In number 5, South Korea. Number 4 is Migu, USA. Number 3 is, I wrote Phil, so my brain did immediately think Philadelphia. But no, in fact, the Philippines. Mabuhay! Number 2 is Japan. And number 1 is Indonesia.
Absolutely. The Indonesian girls.
The Indonesian girls are not talked about enough. No. Where are Indonesian idols?
There is an Indonesian girl. You know that Knowing Brothers episode with Hao and Matthew? She's one of those girls.
Just a random assortment of countries and who their top trainee is.
Yeah.
So for Korea, it's sunoo.
Slay. And the fact that everyone in Korea at the time was like, give me entertainment, give me personality, give me baby girl.
Give me someone who knows how to perform with their face.
I know, it's the expression.
Which is something we will be talking about in this episode.
Yeah.
USA voted for Daniel.
America's Own.
Where is he? What's his background?
Where he's from.
Do we know anything? It just keeps saying
on
USA
the show,
and Korea.
Korea/United States.
Yeah.
So.
Japan voted for Niki. China voted for Sunghoon.
In Boys Planet, Japan wasn't really voting for Geita or other Japanese idols.
No, they were voting for...
I think it's like either Hao or Hanbin.
Indonesia's voting for Jake. Slay that. Vietnam is voting for Hanbin.
Absolutely.
Oh, we love to see home support.
Yeah.
We love to see home support. I feel like the Southeast Asian countries always are like, we lift up.
There is a feeling of like one of us made it. But
also Japan has like 4 trainees they would be splitting the vote across.
That's true.
So it's actually impressive that Niki is garnering the most of them. And then India is voting for heesung.
They said, give us a workhorse. And in honor of that,
we had Indian takeout tonight.
We did.
I had butter chicken. I feel like I weigh 600 pounds right now, hence the pillow.
Well,
it was so good.
We also did both basmati rice and naan and samosas.
Yeah. So ends the data portion of our show.
They're saying the voting is not over yet. They have one more week of voting, but this is the episode that you'll see who will be.
We go to start the and Ampliverse. What is it? What is this called? It's incredible.
Incredible. So I think it's Incredible.
So they do the Incredibles.
Yeah.
And they immediately comment on the fact that number 5, who was Jungwon, is now heesung.
Yes.
So now we get the flashback of like, how does this all happen?
That happened. This wasn't as dramatic, I would say, as like the Jae Sung-hoon representative. Their 2 main parts are solo and not with the group. Like it's like fully them just walking or whatever.
Yeah.
He just doesn't carry enough kind of weight and pull the audience stronger. Yeah. So they made the recommendation that they think heesung probably should do it, and so they have this vote. So it's our first time seeing Jungwon like struggle through something.
It's definitely Jungwon's, I think, first real narrative. And I think the other difference between the Jae Sung-hoon thing is like, for editing wise, they were able to very specifically point to like,
what are the
Jae can't do these 2 moves or whatever. Yeah. Whereas like, it's
more
like the
energy vibe.
Of the performance. I don't think they're wrong. Like I don't think Jungwon would have been bad.
I don't think so either.
But he's almost like too delicate for I think what solo parts need from him.
Yeah.
There's something like very pretty about Jungwon and the way he moves in a way that there's not,
especially this like
heesung
early
is better
Jungwon.
about hiding, I think.
Yes. There's a little bit more swag needed for this part.
Yeah. And I do think Jungwon, like, especially now, 3 years later,
Can do-
oh my God,
yeah.
it would be so good. But I think back then, just like where they were, Jungwon is one of the only people who has not cried on the show. Mm-hmm. He, again, repeats that in this episode. He
Still
does
has
not cry.
not.
He's really able to vocalize, like, I don't feel great about this, but, like, he is not emotionally getting to a place where he, like, is worried about it or anything, you know what I mean? Like, he is just like, let me just like sit and try my best, and if we get to a place where we realize that this isn't the option, then we'll go with it.
They just talk through it, basically.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to try for it, or I want to keep practicing, and then if everyone still thinks that heesung should do it, then that's fine. And then
He says he ends up deciding that he would rather do part 2 confidently than do 5 and be a little worried about his performance.
yeah.
It's that team dynamic. It's that, like, I'm just going to do what's best for the overall
is
group.
Actually sensing, this is the first time that it feels like they have a sense of what the final group will be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other thing that happens that I think Jungwon is very intuitive of is he says, like, if I stay 5 and I'm not perfect, they're going to send me out.
They're going to send me home. Yeah.
They're like, now there's like eyeballs on me.
Right.
They're going to be watching for me to mess up.
Right.
So if I go do another job where I can do great and be fine, then I might just like skate by. Because that's the real issue, is we just don't want to be one of the three people that the producers kick out.
Yeah.
After they talk in the group and they all like discuss whatever, like I think J-Bomb has a moment where he's like, I think Jungwon, you're really good
doing
at
a
this.
good job. Yeah.
But if it is for the betterment of everything, I think it's fine if we change. But there's this moment where Jay just like reaches his hand out.
And like they hold hands.
And like
basically.
they hold hands, and he's like, "Are you like?" He asks him if he's okay, and he's like, "Not right now, but I will be." And it's so sweet.
Yeah, in his talking head, Jay says that like I obviously know what he's going through, and there's just that like, it's like Jay learned his lesson of like overshooting, and obviously he's been to ground too, and even like with the representative fights, like he's learned how to just figure out where he can naturally fit in the group dynamic as opposed to overshooting every time.
Totally. Yes, it's super interesting because in that dive interview I talked about, he talks about being like, oh, I never really wanted to, like, my lifelong dream wasn't like being an idol.
Yeah.
He just kind of like started along the path and was like, well, let me try.
Yeah.
But the way you watch a show, you would almost think that it was like his
He really
like
wants
he
this, or like
I think he does want this because I think he's very competitive, but I also think like he really wants to prove to himself and to everybody else, and like it's always like to their parents,
Right.
because obviously their parents are putting a lot of like trust in them to like do their best, blah blah blah.
He's a good one to root for.
He's a good like underdog, and he's obviously not the underdog of the show,
yes,
but like
he's not.
he has this underdog quality.
That you still
because they
root
keep
for
giving him these mini narratives that are like, oh, he almost got it. Oh, he
Yeah.
almost was there. So you really want to see him succeed really bad.
Yeah.
But he's taking everything in stride. Like he's had basically like multiple times now parts like taken away from him to some extent.
should like crush him.
They wouldn't recover from that. But he's
Yeah.
been like, okay, I'll just work harder next time. Like if you can get your head in that mindset, it's so helpful, so beneficial. They have pizza together. They're all enjoying their little time on Iland. And I'm gonna say this right now, and the girlies are not gonna like this. RJ and I like to eat pineapple on pizza.
I'm Filipino. You should have just assumed, girl. I'm a salty and sweet girl.
Salty sweet. That's the gig. There's also this crazy moment. Speaking of the dive interview, there is a crazy moment where they're like convinced that they saw a ghost.
I know.
And then they have this whole montage of like people being freaked out,
Scaring each other.
Jay is like super scared.
The big,
He's
like he
a big
won't go
scaredy cat.
into an empty room.
Yes, it's
basically.
very funny.
Which I don't blame you, girl.
But it's so funny knowing the context of that interview now, where they like actually talked about it.
Yeah.
And this moment, which makes it seem like they're just like, oh, they're just like psyching each other out or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, people were seeing ghosts.
But that's the thing, like in a space like this where it is so bleak,
sure.
like the concrete.
There's no warmth in
There's
this
no
space.
warmth in the space at all. It's so cold, like like feeling cold.
Yeah.
That obviously you would feel like I'm so aware of being so empty in this hollow space.
It's like the Capitol in Hunger Games.
Girl, you just told these people you've never seen The Hunger Games.
I love Hunger Games. Over on Ground. This is honestly,
okay. If
Sunoo was not in enhypen, I don't think I would like enhypen.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
If you were watching this live, you would be going crazy.
I would have made an entire
you would have made
Twitter account just for Sunoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sunoo fan voting.
Yes. Global Sunoo updates. Yes. Like in all caps, you know the one. Yeah,
That's crazy because at the time you were still
Protect Sunoo.
You were still working at Disney, so you were probably telling people at work crazy.
Please put your mask back on.
Yeah, please put your mask back on and vote for Sunoo on Weverse.
Oh, it would have been happening for sure.
Absolutely. You would have had pickets, a keychain. You would have the whole thing. Living with the Iland.
Living with the land. Yes, honey. Yes. Yes, bitch. So Sunoo is worried that he is going to get lost because he's part 8.
He was like, oh, I'm never in the center in the song. So he is practicing his 2 lines in front of the camera and just literally talking to the camera. It's like,
this is what I'm going to do.
Do you guys, should I do this? Or should I do it like this? And everyone is just
and it's so good because here's the thing. He's both practicing. He doesn't know if they're going to use this.
That's true.
In the show.
Yeah.
They could totally have easily just cut this out. But knows.
The fact that as soon as he knew that global votes were going to start, he was like, I don't care about this mirror. I don't care about anyone else here. Where's my camera, baby?
The only people who know me
are these girlies. These girlies are getting me to part 2.
Honestly, he is such a fucking mood.
Yeah. If we ever did a survival show All-Stars, in a heartbeat, Sunoo would be on. He's been really great as a survival show.
But usually All-Stars, it's like an All-Stars All Winners?
You could do an All-Stars All Winners.
Sure. Then it's
I think we should sometimes they'll throw in a winner, like a BB.
Oh, sure.
Mm-hmm. But they could do an All-Stars to make a super group of people that have been formed in a survival show.
Isn't that basically
All-Stars All Winners?
Queendom Puzzle was?
Oh, I'm doing it. We're making this All-Stars concept happen.
Great.
Ichan's got to be in there. Our beloved Ichan is going to be in it.
He's gotta. Then it can be All-Stars All Winners.
The regular season and then All-Stars All Winners.
Yeah.
So Sunoo will be in All-Stars All Winners.
Okay. So you're going to split them up? You're going to split up Ichan and Sunoo?
Why don't we just throw in the winners in the regular season?
It's a mix.
It's a mix
of just people, whether or not they've won.
They've won or not. Yeah. It's a fun group.
Great.
Because technically, Eungi and Sungmin won the TO1 survival show.
Oh, true. It would just, it's just going to be all of our baby girls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it'll premiere on VH1, obviously.
New to logo.
Yes.
Logo Korea.
So now we're giving small narratives of
to a bunch of
people. EJ is one. He's limping his foot.
He can't sleep.
He can't sleep. There's this very sweet moment where everyone's asleep and then EJ jolts up and J-Bum was like, are you going to go practice again? And he's like, yeah, I feel like I need to. And his whole thing, first of all, did not know how soft-spoken EJ was.
I know.
It's really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with EJ this episode. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Because he was like, even as a trainee, I've been a big hit trainee for a long time, I have gotten kind of the same feedback there, and I'm still getting it now of he's not doing anything wrong, but he's not doing anything to shine.
Yeah.
Being an idol is all about being extraordinary.
The Islanders.
The Islanders perform Incredible.
The Incredibles.
Yeah, the Incredibles theme song. And what do you think of the song, Adam?
Okay, I have now watched this song
multiple times.
Because I just watched it again before we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I feel better about the song now, but I do think it has one of the problems that I hate, which is they give them a B-side. It's an original song, but it's clearly a B. It would not be the title track.
Right.
Obviously, B-sides are just as important as title tracks.
Yeah.
But if this is the last vote, this is the last thing that somebody's going to get to do for like for a global vote before half the people leave the show. Give them a title track.
Give him a title track worthy song. Look at the potential of the performance. Wouldn't you want to see them in a debut show or a music show?
Yeah.
And by giving him a song that would honestly just live as another track in an album.
Yeah. It's not hard vocally. It doesn't feel like there's a bunch of falsetto parts, but it's not like it's like one line is in falsetto and the next line is not,
mostly
and
monotone.
it's different people. Yes.
It doesn't feel like
It's not a melodic song, which is fine. They don't have to be. Because of that, because it's such like a strong beat song, it feels like the song that your dance teacher in jazz class uses as the
song.
end. As the end of like you perform a number to this song. This had the worst fucking camera editing I think I've ever seen on a Korean
weird
show ever.
I know there are cameramen in there, but it feels like they put together automatic trackers of each individual person and then just like mashed it together.
I also feel like the camera operators had no idea what the choreo was, so they didn't know what marks to hit. Like everything felt like they were just catching the performance doing something. Fine, Zico, Rain, whatever, everybody who's watching, fine.
Right.
They are not people who give reactions.
Yes.
So like cutting away for Rain to be like, oh, is like, don't cut away for that. It means nothing. Who stood out to you in this song? Before I get to what everyone else
the
thinks,
results are.
Yeah. Who really stood out to you in the Iland performance?
Really just two people.
Yeah.
Jungwon and Sunghoon. That's pretty much it. Those are really the only ones that I noticed did something. I mean, Sunghoon really did something with this part. Everyone else was just doing the part. Jungwon and Sunghoon, I noticed, were like performing the part.
Yes.
I think heesung innately just does that. That's just how he performs.
I expect it from him.
Yes.
So
and even from Jay, like I know they were like they were a little bit more complimentary with Jay. They were like, this is a good Jay performance. But I think like Jungwon and Sunghoon were like in the character, which is funny because when Jungwon was practicing to keep his original part, they were all giving him feedback, and Sunghoon was the one that was like, make sure you're looking at the camera.
Yeah.
Like, and not just like you looking at yourself right now. Really like try to make eye contact.
Jungwon is so good in this
Jungwon's
song.
so good.
Jungwon is a star.
Yeah.
Has always been, will always be. Sunghoon as well.
Jungwon
But like
slay.
Jungwon is so good. And when he gets into that like zone, oh my God, he does not feel, he feels so much older than he actually is.
I know.
It's so impressive. I do think because K was like sick. He was like a little under the weather, but I think I'm also used to like incredible K performances so far on the show.
Even like,
so that in a normal person, like if J-Bomb pulled out what K was doing in this, I'd be like,
wow, J-Bomb, okay.
Slay.
But because K was doing, K was marking and it was still like, oh,
and last week was
so
K's
good.
best week for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And K's done well every week so far, but K, yeah, this was like definitely the step down for him, unfortunately.
There was a moment that I said that like Kyungmin did good, like he had really good facial expressions.
Oh, yeah.
But
some of those, I mean, it's hard with 12 people though. Some of those parts you just have like a line.
So you catch it and then
like,
it's done.
That's what it is. That's what the challenge is. But because nothing's distributed perfectly evenly, it's like a little bit of like a fool's errand. You know what I mean? It's hard to try to make yourself stand out when the whole distribution is like rooting against you.
How did the girls do?
How did the girls do? Kay doesn't feel great about his performance. He's like upset as soon as he leaves the stage. And Kyungmin is convinced he's leaving. Like he's like, I'm going.
No one really felt confident. Everyone felt really down.
No, everyone felt like it was really, and I think think partly it's because it's a low energy song.
I think so too. And it like you get no applause. Right, Friedrich. No applause, like no reactions, nothing when you're over there.
Yes.
So the only thing you're feeling is how you felt. Like if you feel like this was a big energy number, then at least that carries like adrenaline into
like
it.
Fire you end and it's like such a
so like
song.
even if I may have not done well, at least like the song was like I felt like I was evoking a strong emotion. Here it didn't really feel like.
Right. Everyone felt weird.
Yeah.
You know who didn't feel weird about their chances of being voted off of Iland?
Seon. Mother was like, I feel pretty good that
She was
I'm
like,
not going to get voted
I don't
out.
think anybody from Iland is going to vote for me to leave. So
And
good
that's
luck,
what
good luck to everybody else on the show.
And that's when I told Adam, like, okay, from our perspective as a watcher, we already know that he's going.
We knew it last week.
We knew it last week.
Yeah.
And so now just to show that so that way you can get
so
a
good.
full satisfaction of a full crash and burn.
It's so good.
I will say they still threw us for a loop because I think I told Adam, like, he's probably going to get voted out then. And he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't voted out.
He was chosen.
He's chosen. Okay, so they go in to do their individual voting to vote for the 3 people that they think need to leave. And up until now,
They just get
their options.
they get their vote and
They've gotten
their
their
number.
number, and they've gotten no other information.
Yep.
That's pretty much all that's happened so far. Except for, well, they had the top 6 that one week. Whatever, you've watched with us. This time they walk in there, and I want to say this, them using that J reaction of him when they
Brilliant.
reveal the number everybody scores, amazing.
more data.
More data. Okay.
They show the girls.
They show the
Everyone's
girls,
scores.
everyone's name and everyone's score. And there is something funny about, I said this to you, where I was like, there's something about providing this layer of objectivity of like, here's the scores, do with this information
Right.
what you will. Because you don't have to vote.
You don't have to vote.
You don't have to vote the bottom 3.
No.
And I think most of them didn't vote the bottom 3.
Yeah. And I asked Adam, well, who would you have voted for? And he was like, I would have just voted for the bottom 3.
I would have voted for the bottom 3. It would be very hard to
It's
make a
the
decision.
easy-
It's the easy.
it's
It's
the
the
e-
it is
it's
the
the
thing
thing-
that in All Stars they always want.
Yes.
They always
They
want
want an
like a
easy-
they want like a rubric so they can be like, well, I sent home blah
Well-
blah blah, and it's only because she had lost
She
her
had
challenges.
Yeah, it's either like scorecard or it's like, okay, out of all of the 4 judges, all 4 of them gave negative critiques.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone who like technically got a positive critique on their runway.
Yeah.
So technically
Yep.
they're not
Yep.
the worst.
It's always like how to quantify how to objectify the
the
subjectivity
of the vote,
art.
of voting each other off. Yeah.
So I said what's crazy about it is like because you can do it like that, which I don't think none of them did. None of them. I don't think anybody voted for K. But you could vote for the bottom 3 and just be like, that was the bottom 3. Or you can use this and be like, are the producers going to send out the bottom 3? But I like someone in that group, so who do I want to pick to say to
save, yeah.
you know what I mean?
So that way
Kind
they're
of like
not,
strategize.
You do get some of the people with low scores are the people that get picked by the producers. Like if I was Heesung or Geonu, I would be there and be like, okay, K's in a bottom because he's not feeling well today.
Yeah.
But maybe that's still part of the whole thing. You've psychologically convinced that there already is a pecking order.
I feel weird about the sick thing because it sucks that they're
It
sick
sucks, yeah.
and you don't want to vote for someone who's sick, but it's also like that's your performance then. I do think if K had not been the center,
He would not get.
I don't think his score would have been as bad. Because if you're PO1, they're looking for you specifically.
To see if you are holding the
You're
group.
the face of that number.
Yeah.
And he just, yeah, it sucks. I think if he had been 5, he would have done really well. In number 1, our beloved Jungwon. Amazing. 83 points. Sunghoon is number 2 with 81, and Jae is number 3 with 76.
Yeah. I would agree. Those are probably my top 3 as well.
Third to last is J-Bomb with 63 points. K has 61 points, and Geonu has 60. Now, I want to say this about Gonu's trajectory of the show. His best performance was Into the Island.
Yeah.
But it was also everyone's like worst performance, I think, which extra made him stand out. But like he hasn't stood out really since then.
In this number specifically, I was like, I can see your shoulders are stiff. Like I can see that you're thinking about what you're doing next.
And it was a big thing, like the performance didn't connect to his face.
Yeah.
He did not, he wasn't giving.
I don't think he was the worst though. So that kind of shocked me.
Who do you think was the worst?
Youngbin.
Yeah.
Youngbin looked like he should not have been on that stage.
Yeah.
He looked scared.
It wasn't
I would have
great.
voted for, I think my bottom would have been Youngbin. K wasn't even that bad, really.
K did not, it's
I don't
crazy
think
that
he should have
K
been the bottom.
has that score.
I know they were saying that, like, I think he took it octave down, but I don't even know because the song is like.
It's an original song. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I think him, Seon, probably J-Bomb.
I would probably say J-Bomb.
Just because he also looked unsure.
Yeah.
Seon just does not have anything. Like, I don't feel.
It's so.
There is nothing that I'm feeling.
Completely forgettable.
I know.
And in Ground too, spoiler alert, and in Ground's performance too. Just like I didn't even see him.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre. It's so weird. I don't know how to explain it. Because I'm like looking for, okay, anyway. Islanders voted off Youngbin, J-Bomb, and Kyungmin.
That feels right.
I don't know if I agree with the
don't know.
Kyungmin, but they are such friends with Seon at this point. I know
Yes.
why they did not vote Seon.
Yes.
So then the producers pick from the rest of the 9 and get rid of EJ, Geonu, and Seon. I don't agree with the EJ.
I don't agree.
But then I guess you get rid of K. Like that's the other thing.
Then it's K or Jake.
Or Jake.
Jake would probably. I think K is probably the. I don't know.
Because so Zico says that his bottom 3 were Seon, EJ, Jake. Song Song-dok says EJ, Seon, Geonu. And Rain said Sunghoon, Seon, EJ. So they all say EJ. I just didn't feel like.
I don't know. They're. But also, like they say.
Rain saying Sunghoon was crazy, by the way.
They are saying, though, that EJ, they're bringing in the history into that.
Yeah, that's true. They are not just voting on this one.
Yeah.
They're taking everything from the first half of the show into this performance, for sure. And when I tell you, if there's worse crying than this, I am frightened to see what that is like. Because
Jay,
oh my God,
heesung, K.
I don't even want you to play the video. I want you to pick stills out. You need to show the still
anguish,
of Jay being like,
yes,
like that was crazy.
Full anguish.
Heesung it truly feels like they're sending these 6 off and their mothers who are sending their only children off to war.
Yeah.
Like they are fully like, "Rah!" And it's wild.
Which is funny because they're all about to go home. You can clearly tell they are almost like at the end of their ropes here. So they end up going to ground that night, and they arrive in ground. Ground doesn't even know.
Ground
they're
has
just
no
sitting
idea.
there.
They think they're performing.
They're
that
performing
night.
tonight,
baby.
and then they come.
You got a big storm coming.
Everyone is still crying, and then they find out that now they actually have an extra 3 days to perform because
they have to
redistribute.
Yeah.
Because now they have to perform it as.
Can I say this about when they walk in? There's more tears. People are like, "How did they let you go?" Blah,
How
blah,
is
blah.
it you? Yeah.
Sunoo and Ichan.
J-Bomb Ichan is clearly still devastated about it, but there's so much joy. I mean, like, when your absolute best friend in this whole thing comes back after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Together. Yeah.
They're Sunoo is so happy, and he obviously knows like it's not great that J-Bomb like got kicked off Iland, but he's so happy to have him back with him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so cute.
It's so
and
cute,
knowing
so
that they're still friends. Oh, I can't. It's so good.
Ichan went to their concert.
I know.
And brought Park Han-bin.
I know.
And now they're... I'll blur that out.
Park Han-bin can't be
Because he's...
that night, they're still wearing their performance
that night,
costumes.
they have to line distribute to 16 people.
They keep saying 16, and I was really bothering
the entire time. Adam was like, why are they saying 16? It's so stupid. And I was like, I'm pretty sure someone left.
And I was like, they would have told us.
They would have told us. This is fucking stupid. They're so dumb. Big Hit and Hybe and Hitman Bang are so stupid. And I was like, Adam, just wait till the fucking end of the episode.
And then we find out that Jungwon left.
And Jungwon left because he was already feeling some sort of like injury on his feet that I think just wasn't getting any better. So he decided to leave.
So everybody's like trying out for different parts now. And like, I think there's 9 people that want one, PO1. It's crazy. Geonu really wants it. So they have everybody like dance. They audition
that night.
Audition that night. Like Niki goes.
Hanbin went.
Jungmin goes.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of people that go.
Yeah. Seon went.
Geonu goes.
And
he
is like literally so passionate.
He is
during the thing. I was like, oh my God, he is like really giving it all his all.
He's like touched by the spirit in a Protestant church. He is like sorry.
Okay, as someone who grew up Catholic, that's a thing.
Oh yeah, babe. He dances so hard and then shablams at the end. He said, I'm so into voguing right now.
Okay, you have just been kicked out for the first time in a month now. By the producers, no less. Mm-hmm. Completely shocking your confidence. And then now you have to reprove yourself. So obviously he wants to prove himself. And he does it so hard that he literally like his legs buckle.
Yeah.
He literally was like telling everyone like, can you guys straighten my legs out?
He collapsed. Because I think his legs cramped or something. But he collapsed and I thought it was going to be like, and then he had to leave the show. That's the way that it like unfolded. Yeah. I was like...
And by the way, no resolution. Because after this moment, they fast forward to their performance.
Yes. And he got PO1.
And he got PO1.
And like, if you're willing to sacrifice your walking ability to do so, I'd give it to him as well.
From a 16-person, incredible.
Just 16 people on stage. So let's split it.
Let's split this mid-tempo song.
And split it between two groups.
Split it in 2 groups.
Then they all come together at the end.
And then they all come together at the end.
It's not for me. I love these fencing outfits. I remember when I used to know about the show, and the only thing I knew about the show was these stupid outfits.
And I love them. I want them so.
I hated them. I thought they were so stupid. In like physical space, in context, with like them all dancing together, they look so good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about it. I can't explain it.
It's giving like magic school college or magic school uniform in like a fantasy world
fencing
setting.
Energy,
something very
like Renaissance. Decellus. Yes,
it's giving Decellus.
Oh my God, Decellus Academy. What did you think of this performance?
Okay, I like that they did split it in 2.
Who do you think has a better performance? Iland or Ground?
I do think Ground is a little better. It feels a little bit more dynamic because there is a little...
Okay, that's what's weird is there's more people, but there's also less people because they do it in 2 teams.
Even 2 teams, yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Yes. Yeah,
I think I like Iland's performance better.
I mean, yeah. I think Jungwon and Sunghoon being a standout does kind of prove like, oh, you can make the song work.
Because you also have to then redistribute all these parts into 16 people. And it was already like 12 people some of them were only getting one line. So there's definitely people in this where I was like, you don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
I actually don't think Taki sings a line in the song. I just think he has that
feels
little
like
solo dance moment.
I think my problems with this episode is the song. It just is the wrong song to do it at this stage of the game.
Yeah.
You could have thrown this in one of the earlier challenges.
The thing that I liked about Fantasy Boys, I can't believe I'm saying this, is that I like that they pretty much always had 7 people in their performances. Right. 7 is like a good number. It's like a good way to like everybody gets a nice amount of lines. Everybody gets a nice amount of time in the center. This is so hard to like, and if no one's standing out, right? Nobody has like different hair.
Fantasy Boys there is a song, a dance break, and a rap in almost every song.
Yeah.
I would say pretty much every song. Well, Adam, if we were watching this live.
Well, no. Okay, so you did yours live. I had a different rubric for myself.
Yeah. I did live as if like I was watching this at that time and I could vote 6 people in ground.
Great. Who'd you pick?
You did not.
No, so I picked not necessarily knowing anything other than I didn't want to waste 2 of my votes on Niki and Sunoo. So this is probably the only time in the show where I'm not going to vote for Sunoo.
Yeah.
Because they are both on my list if I was picking them, but I wanted to see who I thought stood out in the song. I'm really only also basing it on this performance.
Right.
Not the whole show up to this point.
Okay.
Who in this performance like caught my attention that aren't 2 people that I know end up debuting in the group.
Okay.
Makes sense? I'm gonna name first the 3 people that are probably less surprising. Daniel. I think his solo part in the second part of the song is so good. He is like Jungwon, a person where it's like, how are you that young? Mm-hmm. And Niki too, to some extent. Like your talent is beyond your years.
Beyond.
Hanbin kills it in part 1. He's so good. He does this like smirk when he like does like this thing, and I was like, ooh, baby. And Nicholas kicks his leg. I actually voted for the kick.
Yeah.
Nicholas's kick is really what I'm voting for specifically. It is so high. It's so committed. It's so like it's so clearly it's going to be as high as humanly possible because I want people to notice this kick. And you know what? It worked. Here are the 3 people that I think you're going to be surprised by. Okay. Sungchul.
Interesting.
Sungchul and Jimin. I'm voting for both of them. They have this moment in the beginning, in the first part of the song, the first 8, where they have this like little moment together, and they each have these. I don't know how to explain it. Their line. I just feel like there's a lot of expression in their performance that I was like surprised by, because I think it's Sungchul. Sungchul has the Geonu part from the first from the Iland performance with this thing.
Yep.
And when Geonu did it, he was so like blank, but like Sungchul gives it a lot of like character.
Like he's giving like a heart.
Yes. There's a lot of character he gives with it, and I was like, oh, that's what the song like really needs. And I think Jimin does it too. He like is right before that part. They're both really good. So I voted for those 2. And then my last one, and it's literally I wrote smirk. Who do you think?
I don't remember the performance that well.
Taeyong.
Oh yeah, he does.
He has this like little knowing smirk that I feel like fits the energy of this song so well, because it's such a mellow song.
Yeah,
but
it could be like more mischievous. I think that could really help it out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the problem I had with the Iland performance.
I think this is an team song. Now that I'm saying all this. Because you were talking about earlier when we were watching it, I was insinuating that this is more of an enhypen song than like Into the Iland is. But I think it sounds like an team song to me. Except for the fact that it's in Korean. It's probably the only problem.
Interesting. Okay.
So those are my 6.
Okay.
Crazy that I didn't vote for Taki.
Yeah, but you barely, with your parameters of you're just basing it on this number.
I disagree with Rain that he should not have looked at the camera. Because that was Rain's critique in the last episode when they were like practicing. Was he like, he did the thing and he was like looking up and Rain was like, no, look down and then look up. I disagree. I think he should have been looking up the whole time. I disagree, Rain.
I think you and Rain disagree on a lot of things.
I think me and Rain disagree on a lot of things.
So I pick my 6 knowing or putting myself in the parameters of I am watching this live.
Okay.
I have been told that I need to vote 6 to make sure that they are the 6 that go in the second part of the show. So truly just like I want them to continue in the show. Obviously I'm picking Sunoo. That's obvious. Daniel. I mean, like, and I'm also gonna, with this, I'm also doing like retrospectively everything that they've done so far.
Everything up to this point. Okay.
So Sunoo, Daniel for sure. Geonu. Even though I know this was his weakest week, I think even the fact that he auditioned for PO1 again, got it, and did it really well shows that like he's aware that maybe he's aware that he needs to like amp it up or like
I think the PO1 part for this song is a thankless role.
Yeah.
Because even as Geonu did it, and I think Geonu did do well.
Yeah.
I just was like, you don't get memorable parts. You get to be in the middle, but you don't get to do anything.
Yeah. EJ, I think that narrative would have really worked on me.
I can't believe I didn't pick EJ. Yeah.
I think it would have really worked on me as like, oh, he's really trying his heart. Like Hanbin.
Yeah.
Because I would just be like, if I would be voting for Hanbin if the voting was from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And Jimin. Jimin was so good in the dancing in this number. This was his best week. I thought that he nailed the dance so well. Like he was hitting it. And also like his expressions were very much like, I have this. Like there's like I have it in the
confidence
bag.
to it. Yeah. It's really good.
That I am really bummed that he hasn't had like anything.
I know.
Even though I can see that he's been a hard worker.
I know.
Like all show. Thanks.
Well, damn.
Can't wait for part 2. I'm really scared that I'm not going to like it as much as part 1. I don't know.
That's so funny because I think most people like part 2 more than part 1.
I think it's because part 2 is more like a traditional survival show. Like very Boys Planet-y. Shenanigans.
Yeah, and you're going to dislike that?
I just think what I liked about Iland so far is how different it is.
Sure.
So I am kind of afraid to let go of that. And then it becomes like a regular show where producers are more involved, maybe. That like
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I have no idea. I do not know who makes it. I can make assumptions based on like
I think the N Team boys make it.
I think all the N Team boys make it.
Just because
Nick or
Taki, Nicholas, EJ, K.
So there's 6 boys that make it.
Yeah.
So Sunoo and Niki. And so
it's just Taki, Nicholas, EJ. Because K is on the other one. So yeah. And then 2 random people.
No, 1.
Oh yeah. I think Hanbin.
I don't know. I have no idea. You were watching like an An Team with Baeko thing. And the amount of time it took me to realize that Taki was on the screen. I was like, what do you mean?
Who the fuck is that?
Who is that?
Girl, that's Taki.
And I was like,
Taki grew up. He's like the same height as like EJ. And Nicholas. He was the same height as Baeko.
It was crazy.
Turn these damn cameras off.
I loved our low energy in response to the low energy song.
Yeah, just like An Incredible. Watch the N Incredible stands come out and be like, I actually love this song.
I think
you
it's
guys have
fun.
bad taste.
I think it's fun. I don't think the
I think
song
it's
is
a fine
bad.
song.
I
It
just think
was
it's low energy. It's not what I
the right
want
song for the episode that's supposed to inspire me to vote.
Yeah.
Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.